Good evening and welcome back to another Fantasy Football Fix daily price change predictions video. My name is FPL Nacho and this is the series where we discuss potential FPL price changes to help you build that essential team value, something that is very important right now with many managers activating their wildcards. And in this episode in particular, we're going to be looking at plenty of potential FPL price fallers, including premium assets like Trent Alexander-Arnold and Luke Shaw, discussing their potential absence in the coming game weeks and what we should do with these assets going forward. Now, we're giving you guys an amazing opportunity to win a Fantasy Football Fix premium membership for the rest of this season. And all you have to do to be entered into this is to put a comment below this video and like this video, and you will be in with a chance of winning this prize. And this is going to be something that's going to feature in every single video. So if you don't win this one, be sure to stop by in the following video, as there is going to be plenty more opportunities to get your hands on this brilliant offer. So as always, these FPL price changes aren't an exact science and they can alter. So in order to monitor these very closely, head over to fantasyfootballfix.com or download the free app which provides push notifications so you don't miss any of these potential FPL price changes. So without further ado, let's take a look at tonight's potential FPL price changes. So as you can see from the price predictor here, that Bukayo Saka is the only player that's predicted to rise in price tonight. And this is mainly be coming off the back of his goal and assist that he had in that impressive victory over Tottenham in game week 6. And Saka was probably the standout player of those Arsenal attackers in that fixture. And it's 6.2 million, really showing FPL managers that he's providing brilliant FPL potential coming forward into the future game weeks. And we've also expected him to rise. He's currently rising at 1.5% per hour. We are expecting him to rise to 6.3 million tonight. Now, while Saka is the only price riser, there are multiple price fallers that you can see who are potentially going down in price tonight. Now, right now, we currently have Stuart Armstrong of Southampton, who's clearly been injured for the course of the season. Again, not very highly owned. We can see 0.1%, so this isn't going to affect many managers. But transfers here that are definitely going to affect managers is going to be Alexander-Arnold and Luke Shaw, two highly owned players, both above 30%. And Trent Alexander-Arnold right now, of course, red flagged in FPL or amber flagged. This does mean that we're expecting him to miss game week 7. Now, as of right now, there is no clear evidence whether Trent is going to be missing game week 7. But with him not being announced in the England squad, I think the assumptions are that he could be out until after the international break. And we currently have him to fall in price tonight, going down at 3% per hour. And now that his progress bar is over 100%, we do think that he is going to be falling in price. Now, it's worth noting, Trent Alexander-Arnold obviously started the season at 7.5 million. So if you did buy him at 7.5 million, him falling in price is not going to affect your resale value, as you were only ever able to sell him at 7.5 million. Now, if you did buy him at 7.6 million in the last few game weeks, then of course him falling in price does mean that you will lose 0.1 of resale value. So that is just worth noting on Trent here. Now, the other one is Luke Shaw, and of course, another worry for managers with all these red flags dotting about in their teams. Luke Shaw has been picked for the England squad, so there are rumours that he might be available for game week 7, but again, no concrete evidence on Luke Shaw. But managers are clearly worried and are selling him in the masses right now. He is over the 100% threshold, and he's falling not as drastic as Trent, 0.7% per hour. But at 5.5 million, we are expecting him to fall to 5.4 million. And this is also not only the injury, but the recent start to the season that he has had. Only 1 clean sheet and 1 assist. Hasn't been an impressive start for Luke Shaw, and a bit of a disappointing one. I think managers are definitely looking to move across from Luke Shaw. And outside of these two assets, Mason Mount has been potentially falling in price for the last few days now. As we mentioned, wildcards do have an impact on these potential transfers, rises and falls. So there might be a few wildcard transfers in Mason Mount why he hasn't fallen in price yet. But I think the main talking point of this video is going to be covering the two main price fallers in Luke Shaw and Trent Alexander-Arnold, what we're going to have a look at next. Now, a brilliant part of the Fantasy Football Fix website is the transfer stats section, and this gives us an opportunity to take a look at when there are transfers out, which players are being sold and who they are being sold for, and vice versa with transfers in, who are being sold to bring that player in. So when we do look at the transfers out right now, as we can see, Trent Alexander-Arnold, the third most sold player ahead of this game week. And when we do take a look at the transfer combinations, we can see that Trent Alexander-Arnold to Alonso is currently the most popular transfer combo going into game week 7, with 44% of managers going from Trent to Marcos Alonso. Now, of course, this is off the back of a brilliant start to the season for Marcos Alonso. I think there's a few reservations in the Chelsea fan section where they think Alonso might lose his place to Ben Chilwell in game week 7. So that is definitely one to keep an eye on with Alonso. But at 27.4%, a lot of managers are moving from Trent to Rudiger, who I think a lot of people are thinking is the safer pick into the Chelsea defence, with of course not as many options being available to play in that left centre-back role. At 5.7 million, Rudiger looks like a safe pick into the Chelsea fixtures, which are phenomenal from game week 7 onwards. And also with the Rudiger pick, of course, it gives you plenty of funds in the bank, and I think this is what is appealing for managers in the coming game weeks. Now, when we take a look at Luke Shaw, who is of course cheaper than Trent Alexander-Arnold, we can see that the transfer combinations still remain very similar, and an emphasis on Chelsea defenders and Man City defenders is really in the forefront right now. This time, Luke Shaw is the most transferred over to Rudiger at 43%, and this is of course because of how similar their prices are. Managers are easily able to do a straight swap from Luke Shaw to Rudiger. And again, at 34% of managers doing Luke Shaw to Alonso. So again, those two are vying off as the most popular transfers going into game week 7. But I do think that right now, if you are sitting there with Luke Shaw or Trent, with their current injury status, moving over to a Chelsea defender could be a viable option in the coming game weeks. So here I want to take a look at Trent Alexander-Arnold in comparison to Marcos Alonso, because of course this is the direction that managers are currently going towards, using their money from Trent to go into the popular Marcos Alonso. And here I have the touch maps of both players, the heat maps of those, and we can see here that it's very clear that both options, as we knew, are phenomenal assets getting into the final third of both teams in retrospect terms. And when we do look at it here, you can see that Marcos Alonso definitely gets down the byline much closer to the corner spot, delivering in those crosses, whereas Trent Alexander-Arnold picking up those trademark positions around probably about the midway of the opposition half, whipping in those balls that we come to expect really from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Marcos Alonso getting a bit more down the byline and whipping balls in for the likes of Lukaku. But when we do look at the underlying stats for both players, we can see that both have taken 11 shots so far this season and 21 attempted assists for Trent in comparison to 12 of Marcos Alonso. So Trent is definitely providing a bit more to his game than Marcos Alonso in regards to shots and attempted assists. And when we do come down here to a bit of a comparison here, which is a great part of the Fantasy Football Fix player comparison matrix, is we can really get a clear understanding of who is winning in each department. And as we can see, expected goals wise, Marcos Alonso is still winning the battle at 0.75 in comparison to Trent's 0.56. But other than that, it is very close in other areas. Of course, we mentioned the shots on target, 3 each. Shots in the box is actually 6 for Marcos Alonso, but I think that's expected with the formation that Chelsea play. It is actually, very much encouraged for the wing backs to get into the box and influence the attack. Trent, on the other hand, is more asked to deliver those deep line crosses, which we do expect in this Liverpool formation. So this is an expected underlying stat for Marcos Alonso. But then we really do look at it with the assist potential, and that is where Trent comes into his own. 2.08 expected assists. As we mentioned, 21 attempted assists and big chances created of 4. So it does look like Trent does justify his additional price, but Marcos Alonso is showing brilliant potential at this price point. Last up, I want to show you guys an amazing part of the website, and that's going to be the fix comparison matrix. This is one of those parts which really gets a deep dive into different players. We can put up to 5 players in the matrix and compare with customized stats. So in this one, I've decided to compare Luke Shaw in comparison to Chelsea and Man City defenders. And I'm picking the popular ones: Rudiger, Alonso, and then Cancelo and Diaz. Now, when we do look at this here, we can see that we have a projected points over the next 5 game weeks. And Alonso is topping that at 27.8. Now, of course, there are rumours of him potentially getting rotated in game week 7, but our algorithm isn't accounting for that because there's no concrete evidence, obviously, to suggest that. Rudiger closely behind at 24.7, and then Diaz at 24.6, with Cancelo at 22.1. Now, as you can see, they've all played 6 games. Luke Shaw playing the least minutes of those, obviously with injury to him, has obviously been the reason for him not playing as much as comparison to the others. But very interestingly, Cancelo being up there with the likes of Rudiger and Diaz, who are assets that we are potentially bringing in because of the minutes protection. As you can see there, we have the minutes graphic below, and we do delve into the underlying stats here. And when we look at the shots, Alonso is in the clear at 11, with Cancelo closely behind on 10. And then, as we expect, with centre-backs, 4 from Rudiger, 2 from Diaz, and quite surprisingly, only 2 from Luke Shaw, which is kind of showing why he could be a potential sell. When we look at the clean sheets, again, Man City with 5, Chelsea with 4, and of course the difference between Rudiger and Alonso here is just because Alonso didn't play one of those fixtures where they did keep a clean sheet. So really, what this does show here is that minutes are an important factor in the game. I think that moving Luke Shaw to a Rudiger or Diaz is probably the safer option because of the minutes protection. But with Cancelo playing 540, matching both of those, going forward, it looks like he has got that left back slot, and Luke Shaw to Cancelo in a longer term move looks like a real viable option in the coming game weeks. So that wraps up today's FPL price changes video. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. With videos dropping daily, you don't want to be missing a thing. And a quick reminder to be in with a chance of winning the Fantasy Football Fix Premium membership for this year. Be sure to put a comment below this video to get yourself in with an opportunity of winning that today. And as always, guys, these FPL price changes aren't an exact science, so head over to fantasyfootballfix.com and check out the price predictor, or download the free app to monitor these prices very carefully. So we will see you same time tomorrow for more FPL price chat. Cheers.